spaghetti carbonara. Today we're going to be learning how to make spaghetti carbonara, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to turn on your pot and you want to boil some water. Inside the water you can take some salt, sprinkle some of that inside, just a little bit, and then a little bit of oil, maybe just a capful. Now that our water's come to a boil, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in a 2-person portion of pasta. You can use linguine pasta or just spaghetti noodles. You're going to use something like this. Okay, that's about a 2-person portion. And then you're just going to go ahead and you're going to put that into the water. Let it start to soften the noodles. Once the noodles start to soften, then what we'll do is we'll bend them and we're going to get them all inside. Okay, so you see how they just start to bend very easily. Grab a fork and then just push all the noodles so that they're completely immersed into the liquid. And then we're going to cook that up for 8 minutes. I'm just going to move that to the side and cook that for 8 minutes on a low to medium heat. Meanwhile, I'm going to prepare all the remaining of my ingredients. If you want to go and get some pancetta, or you can just use regular bacon, you're going to go ahead and you're going to open this up. You can use a pair of scissors. Just cut this open. And you can use both or one depending on how much bacon you like. If you're cooking a whole family's worth, you would definitely use both sides. Just get a spatula, start cooking that up. And while that is cooking and my pasta is cooking as well, I'm going to prepare my sauce. Please don't forget that although the pasta is cooking on the side, you need to make sure that you stir it every minute or two. Otherwise, the starch from the noodles will want to stick all of them together. So you need to make sure you're stirring it every couple minutes so they don't stick together. Next, for the sauce, you're going to need a piece of Parmesan cheese. If you have a scale, you can measure out 50 grams, but if not, you can measure out like a 1-inch by 2-inch piece of Parmesan cheese, and then you're just going to use a grater and grate that up. The bacon may want to cook faster than what you are intending it to cook, so what you can do is you can take just a couple tablespoons of water and add that to the bacon, and it will slow the heat down so it doesn't cook too fast and burn. Now for the sauce, we need about 40 or 50 ml of cream. So I've just got some whipping cream here. I've got a measuring jug that measures. If you have a scale, you can just measure 40 grams, but if not, I'm just going to use the lines on my measuring jug to measure about 40 grams. And it doesn't say exactly 40, it says 50 and 100, so I'm just using it by eye. That's good enough. Next, I want to add inside the cream is 2 egg yolks. So grab an egg, tap, 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 crack it, and you're going to separate the yolk. When you separate the yolk, you want to get your fingers in here, and you want to tilt it and open it up so the yolk stays inside the shell. Then not on the point where it's really pointy, but on the flat side, you're going to let the egg yolk just slide between the 2 eggshells as you remove the egg white. When you have just the egg yolk left, go ahead and toss that into your cream. Okay, so you're going to do 2 eggs, so here we go again. Separating it, letting that egg white fall off. And there we go. Go back to my bacon, make sure I toss it around. My pasta's got about 4 minutes left. So you can then season the sauce a little bit with a little bit of salt. And if you have pepper, you can add a little bit of pepper as well. Depends if you like a lot of pepper or not. Some people would choose to leave it out. And then you just want to whisk that up. Then you're gonna go ahead and add your cheese in there as well. Leave some of the cheese to place on top after you've mixed everything together. But there you go, you got a nice thick carbonara sauce now. We're just gonna finish cooking up the rest of the stuff. Pasta is now finished cooking after 8 minutes. I wanted to show you that you should put a sieve down in the bottom of the sink. Don't hold it because I don't want anyone's hands to get burnt. Let it sit in there, and then what you're gonna do is you're going to just throw the water and the noodles all inside there and let it drain off. You do not need to rinse it with water. Do not take the water and rinse it all off. We wanna keep the noodles hot. Just let the water drain off, and then you're gonna go ahead and place it back inside the pot. The noodles are all back inside the pot. They're hot, the pan is still hot. I have my bacon, it's cooked up here. I still have a bit of bacon grease in here. I want you to use all that bacon grease, all the bacon, just pour it all inside. Let that flavor, everything, none of it be wasted. Pour that inside there. And then you're gonna go ahead and take all of your sauce, pour that inside. It's best if you have a spatula, you can take all the sauce out a lot better. If not, you can take a few noodles, throw it into your measuring jug here or bowl, whatever you're using at home, and then swirl them around so you don't waste anything. And then you're just gonna use the remaining heat that is left in the pot and the noodles to melt the cheese and cook the egg that's in here to make your carbonara. Stir it around, mix it up well. And then the last part will be to plate it up. But before you plate it up, it's very important as a chef that you know the taste is good. It doesn't need any more seasoning. So take just a few strand, like a strand or two up, grab it, and then let it cool down for a second and taste test before you serve it to your guest. I think it tastes good, but can use a little bit more salt. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more salt on here. Mix that up. You'll have to season it based on what you feel is best for you and your family or your guests. Again, 1 or 2 strands, blow. Oh, it's perfect. I'm ready to plate up my dish now. I've got a set of tongs here so it makes it easy for me to pull the noodles out. I'm gonna grab the tongs, bring them over top of the plate, and when I put them on the plate, what I want to do is I want to just spin it around to build some height. Now what's going to happen usually is you leave a lot of the bacon in the bottom of the pot. So just remember that you need to scoop some of that out as well for place on top so it's evenly distributed. Then you want to make sure that you have a cloth nearby if you dripped or made any dirty spots on the rim of your plate. Wipe them up. Take the last bit of the cheese, sprinkle it on top, and there you have your spaghetti or linguine carbonara. It's now time to clean. If you have some kind of disinfectant, daily spray, you can spray down the area, and you need to wipe down your countertop space. When you go to wipe down, you should get a cloth, and what you want to do is you want to put your hand down, you want to wipe down in a snake-like pattern. So you go forward, back towards you, turn right before you get to the edge of the counter, and then turn back up, forward, turn back, and around. And when you do this, you'll collect all the food or things inside or in the front here. And then when you're done, you can just put your hand down and then collect it all into your hand. Make sure that you also wipe down the stove area. Keep everything nice and tidy. Wherever you have worked, you need to make sure you wipe it down when you are finished. This is your responsibility. All right, now I'd like to talk to you about how to clean up after you've done all your cooking. So in your kitchen, you might have one of these steel wool brushes, or you have a sponge, or some people might only have a cloth. All of these are great. One thing you need to be aware of is that when you're using a steel wool, this should only be used on things that are purely metal. So if something is burnt or stuck onto a stainless steel pot, you can use it to scrub it and get it off. But that doesn't mean it's washed. You then need to use a soapy sponge or towel. So put soap on your sponge, lather it up, and then wait till you see the soap suds and then wash it really well. When washing, you also want to make sure you're not using cold water, but warm water. So make sure you test that as well, because that's going to help kill all the bacteria. When you're washing, don't just wash the inside. Also, you need to scrub the back, front, handles, and everything. And then don't just throw it into the drying rack. Make sure you've completely rinsed off all of the soap suds before you put it to drip dry in your drying rack or set in the sink next to you. After you've let it rinse off, you can set it next door and then let it dry and continue washing. For anything such as these Teflon pots, you can only use a sponge or a cloth. Again, never using this because it will scratch the surface and ruin the pot. Go ahead, wash all your dishes, and have a great day.